Narcissism is a complex personality trait that can significantly influence a person's mental health. While it is often portrayed negatively, narcissism exists on a spectrum with varying degrees of severity. For men, narcissism can affect their emotional well-being, relationships, and overall mental health in profound ways. This detailed account explores how narcissism impacts men's mental health, including the psychological traits associated with it, the challenges narcissistic men face, and the long-term consequences on mental well-being. Let's get into it. Understanding narcissism and its psychological traits. Narcissism is generally understood through the lens of narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, a condition defined by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5. Narcissism is characterized by grandiosity, a sense of superiority and entitlement, often manifesting in an exaggerated sense of one's achievements, talents, or importance. Need for admiration, a constant craving for attention, admiration, and validation from others. Lack of empathy, difficulty understanding or relating to the emotions and perspectives of others, often leading to manipulative or exploitative behaviors. Sense of entitlement, believing that one deserves special treatment and can demand privileges that others don't. Exploitation of others, using people to achieve personal goals without concern for their well-being. Fragile self-esteem. While narcissists may outwardly appear confident, their self-worth is often dependent on external validation. Criticism can cause intense emotional distress, leading to feelings of shame or rage. Narcissistic traits are not exclusive to men, but studies have shown that men are more likely to exhibit higher levels of narcissism, especially the more overt and grandiose forms. The prevalence of narcissism in men may be rooted in social, cultural, and biological factors. Impact of narcissism on men's mental health. Fragile self-esteem and emotional dysregulation. One of the defining characteristics of narcissism is fragile self-esteem. While narcissists often present an inflated sense of self-worth, their self-esteem is incredibly vulnerable to criticism or failure. This fragile self-image can lead to extreme mood swings, from moments of intense arrogance to episodes of profound shame, anger, or anxiety when they feel their self-worth is threatened. Narcissistic men are often highly sensitive to perceived slights or insults. They may respond with defensive aggression or rage when their image is challenged. This emotional dysregulation can exacerbate mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and even anger management problems. Increased anxiety and depression. Narcissists may experience heightened anxiety and depression due to their constant need for admiration and external validation. When they do not receive the adoration they crave, their mental health deteriorates. Feelings of emptiness or worthlessness can occur when they realize their need for validation is not being met, which can lead to episodes of depressive symptoms. Social anxiety is another common issue for narcissists. Despite their outward arrogance, they often feel insecure in social situations, fearing that their flaws will be exposed or that they will not be admired. These insecurities can manifest as anxiety disorders, especially in situations where they are unable to maintain control or get the attention they believe they deserve. Relationship difficulties and emotional isolation. Narcissistic men often struggle with interpersonal relationships due to their lack of empathy and their tendency to exploit others for personal gain. They may engage in emotionally manipulative behaviors such as gaslighting or emotional abuse to maintain control or get the admiration they seek. Romantic relationships are particularly difficult for narcissistic men, as they tend to view partners as extensions of themselves rather than equals. This dynamic leads to emotional neglect, infidelity, and lack of true emotional connection. Over time, these behaviors can lead to relationship breakdowns, loneliness, and even emotional burnout. Friendships also suffer under narcissistic tendencies. Narcissistic men often have trouble maintaining meaningful, reciprocal relationships, as they prioritize their own needs over the needs of others. This pattern leads to social isolation, which, in turn, worsens their mental health. Chronic stress and burnout. The constant need to maintain a superior image and the pressure of trying to live up to one's inflated sense of self can lead to chronic stress. Narcissistic men may push themselves too hard in their careers or personal lives to gain recognition, leading to burnout and mental fatigue. They may also engage in reckless or self-destructive behaviors, such as substance abuse or impulsive spending, as a means of coping with their inner turmoil. This can lead to addiction, further exacerbating mental health issues. Substance abuse and addictive behaviors. The pursuit of admiration and success can lead narcissistic men to use substances, alcohol, drugs, sex, or even gambling as coping mechanisms to manage the emotional distress they experience when their need for validation is unmet. Addiction can spiral, creating a vicious cycle where the individual feels more disconnected from reality, leading to further self-destructive behaviors and worsening mental health. For narcissistic men, substances may offer temporary relief from feelings of emptiness, but they only serve to deepen the underlying psychological issues. increased risk of suicidal thoughts and self-harm. The mental health challenges associated with narcissism can lead to suicidal ideation or self-harming behaviors in extreme cases. Narcissistic men often have difficulty coping with failure, and when their grandiose self-image is shattered, they may feel that they have no worth. Suicide rates in men are generally higher than in women, and narcissism exacerbates this risk. The overwhelming need for admiration and the emotional pain of being unable to achieve their goals can lead to feelings of despair and hopelessness. Societal and cultural factors contributing to narcissism in men. Narcissism is not only a product of individual psychological factors, but also shaped by societal and cultural influences. In many cultures, especially Western societies, traditional notions of masculinity encourage self-reliance, dominance, and the pursuit of success. These cultural norms can reinforce narcissistic traits in men, as they are expected to be powerful, competitive, and assertive. Cultural emphasis on success and achievement. Societal values that prioritize success, wealth, and social status may contribute to the development of narcissistic traits. Men who fail to meet these expectations may struggle with feelings of inadequacy and a desire to overcompensate by presenting a false image of superiority. The role of social media. The rise of social media has exacerbated narcissistic tendencies in both men and women. Social platforms encourage the constant sharing of curated images, creating a reality where individuals measure their self-worth based on likes, comments, and followers. For narcissistic men, this can be particularly damaging, as their self-esteem becomes increasingly dependent on online validation. Toxic masculinity. The concept of toxic masculinity, which promotes dominance, emotional suppression, and an emphasis on power and control, can contribute to narcissistic traits in men. This societal pressure may discourage men from developing healthy emotional expressions or seeking mental health support, leading to the exacerbation of narcissistic behaviors. Treatment and support for narcissistic men. Given the challenges of diagnosing and treating narcissistic traits, therapy and counseling can be effective but require specialized approaches. Psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and psychodynamic therapy. Therapy can help narcissistic individuals identify patterns of self-deception, understand the emotional void behind their behavior, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. CBT and psychodynamic therapy are commonly used. Building emotional intelligence. Therapy that focuses on building empathy, emotional awareness, and social skills can help narcissistic men develop healthier relationships and improve their mental health. Support groups. For narcissistic individuals who struggle with feelings of isolation and shame, support groups can provide a space to connect with others and gain insights into how their behavior affects their mental health and relationships. Medication for co-occurring conditions. Narcissistic men who also experience symptoms of depression, anxiety, or anger disorders may benefit from medication as part of their treatment plan. Our final thought. Narcissism in men significantly impacts their mental health by fostering fragile self-esteem, emotional dysregulation, anxiety, depression, and interpersonal difficulties. The psychological traits of narcissism, including grandiosity and a need for constant admiration, create a constant emotional turmoil that can manifest in destructive behaviors and emotional isolation. Societal pressures and cultural norms further exacerbate narcissistic tendencies, leading to greater challenges in maintaining healthy relationships and managing mental health. Addressing narcissism requires a comprehensive therapeutic approach that focuses on emotional regulation, empathy development, and addressing co-occurring mental health disorders. For narcissistic men, recognizing the emotional costs of their behavior and seeking professional help can be key steps toward improving both their mental health and relationships. Check out the links in the description.